been before. I'm pretty confident saying that. Pretty confident. Yeah.
Anyone who knows you knows that you have plans. Levan is also, I think that he will be even probably better than before. But the only thing is that like we all have injuries, Devon. And he also experienced an injury and he was smart enough to not to push it, not to rush it. You know, he took his time. Mm-hmm. But where you are hitting and where he had the problems is the same point.
I would personally be extremely embarrassed if I lost a match where I had hand control.
Who's that arm wrestler? It's Vitali Larratt.
You talk a lot. I'm ready right now.
Jeff Dape has the biggest hands in arm wrestling. A heavy machine operator from Minnesota, Jeff was born with severely enlarged limbs. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you might be. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday out there in arm wrestling world. How you guys doing? Did you enjoy East vs West 15? Very curious to hear you guys' opinions about some matches. Let's see who's in chat. Hey Robert, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Kazazuri also here. What's up, man? Hello. TOS Move, how you doing, man? Hey, Spermy Zazzy Screamy. Been a while, how you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, man. Old John, what's up? Tomer, hello. Yes, of course, welcome all. Kazazuri says long-ass format. Yeah, Kazazuri, one of the people that I watched the event with after training and during training. And yeah, it was quite long. Yeah, I've been a proponent of making the events less long, little less matches. I don't think would harm the event. Been a proponent of that for a long time now. But I liked it overall. Glad to hear it. Let me see if I can get the chat highlights working for a second here. I think that should do it, right? Yeah, there you go. Okay, awesome. Good to hear it. Good to hear it, Spermies. Yes, of course, it's... Man, Yoshi did better than we expected. Yeah, for sure. Let's get into it, right? Today is all going to be about talking about the event, the results of the matches, and kind of a couple of other things surrounding the event, I guess. So yeah, spoiler alert, starting from here, I'm going to get into spoilers about the matches, going to discuss outcomes, what happened during the match, final results, etc, etc. So yeah, if you don't want to get spoiled, if you want to watch the event, go over to Core Sports, get the event, watch it, and then you can come over here afterwards and talk about it, or like see what people have to say afterwards. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's take a look. I think I have it open here. We'll go over every match, right? Of course, we'll spend a little more time on some matches than other matches. I'll try to keep up with chats while I'm going over the matches, and we can kind of talk about it like we usually do. But yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it a little more structured this time. Maybe I can turn it into a more succinct video afterwards. Would be nice. Let's take a look. I'm gonna make this fit a little more for you guys. Oh, that's better, I think, right? Uncle Todd had to really win, had to really work for that win, yeah, for sure, for sure. Yoshi was one of the pleasant surprises of the night for sure. Tomer says didn't buy the event, but a lot of the matches were posted on Reddit and YouTube, so I watched everything I wanted to. That's fair. It's of course up to you, Tomer. How you consume the event is up to you. I'm gonna start a poll real quick, guys, because I want to know how many of you actually bought the event. Just out of curiosity. You don't have to answer if you watched it or not, but just want to know how many of you bought the event. Did you buy the East versus West 15 pay-per-view? Yes or no, simple poll. I'll take a look at it in, a little while. Kajin says, I'm a sport killer. Interesting, Kajin. Welcome to Arm Historian Life nonetheless. Hey, White Wolf, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you, man. Tomer says, where's Chuck? Because he bet me everything I had on $1 and I won. I want that dollar. Yeah, maybe he won't show up, right? Maybe he's afraid to have to pay out. Todd says, I did buy because of Reno, of course. Yeah, Reno's match, by the way. Really good match. But let's get to it. Let's go over them one by one. And talk about them, right? There's some matches that I'm... Like, I was training while I was watching the event. So there's some matches that I'm not fully, like, still remember or fully up on how they ended. So, yeah. But this one, pretty sure Brigitte won this one, quite convincingly even. I think Irina got 2 pins on her, right? It seemed to me very much to be a match that was kind of decided based on who was on the referee side, right? Who had the buckle side the most of the times. So, yeah. And unfortunately, it seems that Irina got the short end of the stick in that regard. Is it me or is this shoulder kind of looking weird? It looks like there's like a chunk taken out of it in Photoshop or something. Someone overcorrected a little too much with cutting her out. Maybe I'm just nitpicky, or maybe that's just her shoulder. In which case, I'm sorry, Brigitte. But yeah, both of them were really close, I think. As far as I can remember. But in the end, Brigitte took this match. Hey, Mark Redden, how you doing? Says, hello everyone, glad to be here. What an event yesterday, huh? Yeah, I liked the event in general. Like I said earlier in the stream, I think it runs a little long sometimes. Like, I don't know, after a while, I get kind of match fatigue or event fatigue or however you want to call it. Yeah, and I kind of want it to be over. So I think, in my opinion, of course, I think it could do with having like 3 or 4 matches, fewer matches, 3 or 4. Yeah, that's just me. Yes, of course, says, yeah, Brigitte won 3-2, good match, yeah. But it's interesting, right? It says here world title, so it was a match for the world title, but aren't most world title matches that night 7 rounds? Or not 7 rounds, but best of 7. Hey, Gertillen, how you doing? Another person who watched most of the event yesterday. Mark Redden says, I agree with that part myself. 6 to 8 hours is a bit much. Yeah, it is, right? I like watching arm wrestling, and it takes a long time for me to kind of tune out, but yeah, I kind of felt it sometimes yesterday. Kajin says Devon cracked 3 wrists in 48 hours. Yeah, we'll get to the Devon part for sure. Eric Harlan says, what's up, arm historian? Dan Plexman, where are you, sir? Your boy lost. Between 5 and 10 matches, I think would be a good balance, as Mark Redden. Yeah, I wouldn't... Like, I think 10 is a good number to aim for, and then if you have 1 match less or something, that's not a big deal, right? Because now it's like usually between 13 and like 16 or something. I think that's usually where East versus West falls in. White Wolf says boring except for a few moments, and those refs 5-minute breaks for every slip and foul, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I do agree definitely with that last point. Like if people are fouled out, shouldn't they return to the table straight away? Like they shouldn't even walk away from the table, right? Really strange that refs are like very lenient in that regard, because in my opinion, if I was organizing a tournament, which I'm not, to be clear, but if I was, that would probably be one of my priorities, like making sure the event moves along at a good pace, right? Because you want to avoid dead air as much as possible. And if it's like the 5th or 6th foul of a match, and every time someone fouls, the athletes walk away, chalk up their hands, go get some drink, whatever they do, I think that gets a bit tiresome after a while. So yeah, I definitely agree there. Mark Renner says, I love watching it too, and it's very exciting, but I start to get tired and fall asleep after a while. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Maybe it's just because I'm getting up there in age. I'm saying that I'm not that old, okay, but I don't know. I feel it with every passing year that my tolerance for staying up late kind of diminishes. White Wolf says, ban Devon and East versus West collapses. Only promotion that can ban Devo is Arm Gods. Yeah, there was something going on, right? I'm not fully up on the details, but there is some bad blood between Devon and Arm Gods, right? Kajin says, Morozov even attempting to come at Devon was awful. Yeah, we'll get to that for sure. Now let's take a look. Okay, so not a bad match. I thought the event started off relatively well, although like I said, in my opinion, it was clear that whoever had the buckle was who lost. This match remind me again who won, because I think I was like having some matches of my own on the table when this match happened. Maybe I should pull up the event just for myself so I can kind of use it as a cheat sheet, right? That would be probably useful. I'll do that. Let me quickly get the event here, guys. There we go. Okay. It's open on my site now. I have to be careful not to show it, because my channel will get strikes. There won't be any ARM historian if I show it. Yeah, I think Azad took it, right? If I remember correctly. Let me just double check really quickly. Which, you know, to me, I've heard of Ustinov before, and I've seen him perform before, so I haven't heard of Azad before. So yeah, probably an upset a little bit, maybe, I don't know. Was a close match, it seems. Gets to 3-3, so yeah. Closely contested match. And indeed, no, Ustinov wins it. Yeah, apparently. Says so right here. Yeah, Donald did win this one. Okay, that makes sense. Tomer says, I think a general rule for East versus West events should be that if 90% or something like that of the matches... Hang on. Why did I lose that? There we go. That 90% or something like that of the matches are title shots, then only have 5 matches, because 16 matches, all 43 is just too long. Yeah, I agree. That wasn't the case this time. They weren't all best out of 7 matches, but yeah, I do agree that you should take that into account. Hey, Muscle Bike, member for 19 months. 19 months, which is like, yeah, crazy to me. Says Slante Arm Historian, Armenians and Fingerfolk. Hashtag Arm Gods. Hashtag AU. Thank you so much, Muscle Bike, for the continued support. Yeah, you know I appreciate you, man. A lot. White Wolf says, Azat was the biggest loser with that equipment malfunction. Daniel got his 5-minute break and recovered, but Azat was cooked. Yeah, right. That was that match where one of the pads came loose, and then Travis commented something about him knowing this and telling your Mazurenko about it or something. I don't know. Dev Pixel says, hand over the gauntlet to Devon. Yeah. Didn't they? Wasn't that the whole point? Who has the gauntlet now? Tell me. Sweden Arm Wrestling Television. Been a member for 30 months now. Definitely check out SAT if you haven't already. Worthwhile content creator in the arm wrestling scene. Has been around for quite a while now. And yeah, love his content. So definitely check him out if you haven't already. He's saying, looking for the next Arm Historian mystery. You know, I'd love to do that. It's funny that you put it that way because, yeah, I'd love to like tackle a video on a subject of that's like some kind of mystery in arm wrestling, but I haven't found one yet. Not a compelling mystery. So yeah, but I'd love to do that one day. Love to have a video like that. Mark Redden says, I was looking at their stats on the wall behind them and they both had a record of 0, so I'm thinking that was their start in the pros. Interesting, okay, yeah. Yeah, I've definitely heard of Daniel Ustinov, but don't know where. It was quite long, says Hertilen. Yeah, it was indeed quite long. I agree. Let's move on to the next one. Nugo Chikadze, I think Nugo is his nickname then, right? And probably Nugzari is his full name. Versus Oguzan Kocak, sorry if I'm butchering that name, which I believe Nugo took quite comfortably, right? If I remember correctly. I'll have to confirm here really quick with the spirits, but yeah, I think Nugo took it like a 3-0 or something, right? Yeah, not a lot to say about this match. It was just very aggressive, if I remember correctly, and got it done in the end. Yeah. Very quick match. Was nice. But yeah, Nugo seems to be on a roll, man. He's doing really well. He's also kind of becoming a fan favorite, I think. I've seen a lot of positive things about him, at least. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I think he's doing really well. Guys, is my audio peaking sometimes? Seems like my voice audio might be a little too loud. Let me turn that down just a tad. Muscle Bike with the 5 gifted memberships. Man, seriously, you really don't have to do that. Muscle Bike is, yeah, also one of those people that I've gotten to know through the Arm Historian and have met in real life and stuff, and really big supporter of the channel. Yeah, I appreciate it a lot. Muscle Bike, you know I do. You shouldn't do this. I keep telling you this, you shouldn't do this. But yeah, I appreciate it. Guys, make sure to give some love to Muscle Bike in the chat. Thank him for your memberships. I do have some exclusive membership content on my channel, although not nearly as much as I should. I keep telling myself I should put out more, and I'll try to. But yeah, I appreciate it a lot, Muscle Bike. Seriously, thank you, man. Here, Dylan, welcome to the Finger Folk. Atlantis, welcome. Hackis is now a member too. Welcome, Hackis. Friendly Face, welcome. And the Drew 24. There's a couple of people in there that are long-time regulars, so yeah. Make sure to thank Muscle Bike for sure. Talking about generous people that I've met in real life, White Wolf coming in, seemingly wanting to outdo Muscle Bike here, and gifted another 5 Finger Folk memberships, which is just crazy. I think we just unlocked 2 new emojis in like a couple of minutes, and we've, I think, now reached the most members we've ever had. So White Wolf, thank you so much, man. Just like Muscle Bike, you don't have to do this. I'm serious. This is a nice time in the week for me where I can relax and kick back with you guys and talk about arm wrestling. So it's very much appreciated and it's very generous. But seriously, don't think you need to do this. But yeah, I appreciate it. Be sure to thank White Wolf, guys. White Wolf and Muscle Bike for memberships. Let's see who we can welcome to the Armians and Finger Folks here. Sylvester Stallone, another regular. Welcome, welcome. Thirsty 808. I'm sorry for outing some of you lurkers who've been given one. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being in chat to even receive one in the first place. Woody, Phil Woody UK has become a member now. Thanks to White Wolf. Thanks so much, White Wolf, once again. Be sure to thank him. Another spider check. Dizzy Busy 88, welcome. And DevXTR, finally welcome. This is crazy, man. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah. Devx says, who gifted me? I'll kiss you, White Wolf. I'll kiss you. Make sure to do that. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Seriously. That means a lot. Yeah. Definitely very motivating for me. I'll keep it going. I'll keep the content rolling. But I want you to know, seriously, thank you. I'll send you a PM afterwards. For sure. Let's keep going here. Because it's gonna take too long otherwise. Arthur Makarov versus Omer Kozakoglu. Once again, butchering that last name probably. But yeah, if I remember, Arthur Makarov kind of dominated here, right? Am I wrong? I remember some shot of the Omer guy looking very tired on a chair. While Arthur Makarov was still relatively spry, so in my recollection, it was 4-0 for Makarov in the end. Yeah, in a pretty dominant performance. But yeah, good on the Omer guy for taking on Makarov. Not an easy feat at all. The guy is a freak in the best way possible. So yeah. Omer says, wow, Muscle Bike and White Wolf, 10 memberships in a day. Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's the biggest amount we've received, or at least tied for it, so really crazy. I didn't mean to give a membership to Phil, says White Wolf. Damn. The power, the random draw, right? We all saw you in the shadows. Yeah, we saw people lurking in the shadows, right? I'd be the happiest wolf on earth if I swung that way. You can make an exception, maybe, White Wolf? You don't see many gay wolves, in fairness. Yeah, that's true, though. Top Troll King says non-subs were drugged with tables 2024. Non-subs where their entire body got dragged over the table in 2024, right? In AH chat. The moon does not turn this wolf. So yeah, I need some more emoji suggestions now, guys. We can add a couple more. We can get some new ones. But yeah, awesome awesome performance by Artur Makarov. Well done, Artur. Definitely, yeah, showed you're still on top there. Yeah, another title match, this one. The second female match of the night, and also the final female match between Dimitrina Petrova and the Swedish Karolina Peterson. Yeah, Karolina very active on social media too. You see her around a lot. She follows a lot of content creators too, so very involved in the scene. And she was looking really strong, to be fair. But yeah, Dimitrina took it quite convincingly, if I remember. There were a couple of moments there where Karolina almost, like, she got a stop on Dimitrina and almost pulled it out again. But in the end, yeah, Dimitrina kind of dominated. Which, I believe the same result happened some time ago, like a year ago or a little longer maybe. Can't quite remember the timeline. But yeah, I believe their previous match went kind of in a similar way. So despite probably getting stronger and practicing a lot, still not quite there at that very top of the weight class, right? But I think she's getting there very soon. So looking forward to how she progresses in the sport. And of course, well done for Dimitrina for a very dominant performance, showing that she still got it right. Spermies coming in with the super chat, the 14 Canadian dollars super chat, saying, unfortunately, can't gift membership from my phone, but keep up the good work. I appreciate it, Spermies. Yeah, you know I like you, man. I talked quite a bit with Spermies when I was over at Arm Gods too. Yeah, the guy's a champ. Thank you for the continued support. Seriously, you guys are too much. Too nice. Thank you so much. Mark Redden says the battle of the weird hands. Yeah, in the previous one, right? You were talking about Omer versus Artur. Indeed, something was up with those guys' hands. I knew about Artur's hand. I've seen that before. But Omer had, yeah, like freakishly long hands too. I say this with the utmost respect, right? Because, yeah, it seems to be serving him well, but those dudes had crazy hands, for sure. Omer had one flash of brilliance, but in the end couldn't keep it up, yeah. Well said, Sylvester. Well said. A plastic hammer emoji. Maybe, yeah. It's not a bad idea. Yeah, make sure to hit the like button if you can, guys. Would be very much appreciated. I think we have about half the likes of people in chat, so if you could just take like a quick second to hit the like, we can get the live stream in front of a couple more eyes, right? So yeah, talking about freakish hands, the next match, Oleg Zog versus Betkili Aniani. And I think a lot of people here were expecting Oleg to pull it out, right, for the left-hand title. But yeah, in the end he couldn't. Unfortunately for Oleg, Betkili took the victory. He put up a good fight. There were close rounds. But I'm not quite sure, did Oleg take a round over Betkili in the end? I can't quite remember. Maybe one, but I don't think so, actually. I think Betkili took this 4-0. So, yeah. It kind of shows that two things, right? Betkili is still at a really high level, which is very clear that Betkili is like very strong and at the top of his game, right? At the moment. But it also shows that potentially Oleg Zog isn't quite where he was at before, right? I think that's pretty safe to say that he still hasn't fully gotten there yet, which is fine. You know, you can't expect him to, after such a tragic event and such a kind of life-changing event, not only from a physical perspective, but also a mental perspective, right? You can't expect him to make a recovery that relatively quickly, right? But yeah, still easily somewhere at the top of the class, right? Oleg right now, very clearly at the top of that 95 kilogram class. But yeah, Betkili took it quite convincingly in the end. Too bad. Tomer says shirtless arm historian as an emoji. Let's do shirtless boob historian. Let's do that. Most aesthetic match of East versus West by far. Talking about the previous match, I'm thinking the Dimitrina Petrova versus Karolina Peterson match, and I do agree there, Spacey. Let me grab a quick drink of water here, guys. One moment. I'll give you some ASMR. There we go. Bet you like that. Onyani was a beast, yes indeed, Kazazuri he was. Very dominant. Atlantis says, you know what's funny, I didn't realize that you were streaming until I got an email alert about a membership while picking up an order. Hello to Arm Historian and everyone, Wolf, Muscleback, etc. Hello Atlantis, yeah, Atlantis usually working around this time. Driving around, helping people out, delivering their precious cargo or whatever he delivers. Doing the good work there. But yeah, often tunes into the stream while he's doing that, so... You're now officially a member, Atlantis. Welcome, welcome. Thanks to the very generous Muscle Bike and White Wolf. John Boy says Devon owes Engin a public apology. Yeah, it was quite crazy, right? What happened at the end of the event? We're getting there. Slowly but surely we're getting there. Let's move on. Another very interesting match here. Todd Hutchings versus Yoshi Kanai. Or Yoshinobu if you want. I think this one, a lot of people had Todd Hutchings winning very comfortably, right? And in the end, he did win. But there were certain times during the match, I think he won 3-2, right? In the end. So it was a very closely contested match. And there were certain moments in the match where I thought Yoshi had it. I thought he was gonna win. So yeah, very close match. Well done on Yoshi. I didn't expect him to be in the form that he was in. So yeah, I definitely was one of the people that underestimated Yoshi, and I think a lot of people did, right? Coming into it. I know Engin mentioned during the press conference before the event that Yoshi originally, when Engin was trying to get him to perform at East vs West, or compete at East vs West rather, that Yoshi wanted Devon as an opponent. Engin was kind of advising him not to go that route. And then in the end got him to come over for a match with Godzilla. Yeah, good match. I thought it would be kind of a mismatch, or kind of, I don't know, would be a big ask for Yoshi, right, as his like comeback match. Yeah, apparently he's been keeping up with it. He looked in very good shape, and he did really well, defeating Todd Hutchings in the end with a score of 3-2. So yeah, really good match, close match. I enjoyed it a lot. Kinda woke me up again. So yeah, I love it. I hope we see more of Yoshi, and I think we will, right? It seems like we probably will. Spacey says Oleg is only 32. He'll be back, yes indeed. He'll be back, I'm sure of it. He's a very determined guy. So I'm sure he'll make it back to the peak he was at, and maybe even surpasses that. Kazazuri says, this was crazy. Where does that dude pop up from? Yeah. It's crazy, right? Like, people in the know that have been following arm wrestling for a long time, or are just interested in, like, arm wrestling history. They probably know that Yoshi was, like, really a very good arm wrestler. A very tenacious, strong guy. Definitely the best arm wrestler to come out of Japan, right? in my opinion at least. But yeah, for him to still be at that level somewhat, you know, hanging with Todd, making it a very close match, because Todd Hutchings is somewhere at the top of that class, right? Has to be. So yeah, for him to still be hanging in there, yeah, who knows? Maybe he can one day in the not too distant future face Devon. I'd love to see a Todd versus Devon match right now with the weight Devon is at. Devon would probably still take it, but I'd still want to watch it. So it's not that far-fetched to think of Yoshi somewhere down the line facing Devon, right? In a certain weight class. So yeah. I don't know. He surprised me, and I was very pleasantly surprised. Todd looked quite surprised after the fact. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Someone, Price, says Engin is acting so weird. They start off on Morozov's side of the table. And then Engin trying to stop Devon because of some irrelevant fall. Engin is biased and strange also. I just thought, for me, it's not so much Engin acting weird. It's just the entire thing felt a bit weird. I'll get into it when I finish all the matches. I'll just go over it chronologically because that did take place at the end of the event, but I'll just quickly say, for me, the entire thing felt really strange. John Boy says Devon embarrassed himself as usual. Yeah, you can have that opinion. I can see that. You having that opinion. That's a valid one, I think. Top Rocking says Yoshi's screamings were perfect. Yeah. Indeed, I enjoyed it. He put on a good show. He definitely had heart, a lot of it. So yeah, good on Yoshi for sure. Move on to the next one. Hirtil says Yoshinobu made it a match. Yes, indeed, he did. Reno Message versus Ibragim Tagov. Also a close match. And it's kind of reminding me going over these matches with you guys here. There were actually quite a bit of close matches. More than usual, I would say. Right? I think Ibragim originally got like 2-0 against Reno. Yeah, and then Reno pulled it back. And then they were tied at 3-3 at a certain point. And then I think Reno took it in the end, right? But yeah, really good match, really dynamic match. A lot of different moves. A lot of it had to do with who was quickest off the go. Yeah, really impressive from both these guys. Reno is just like, I don't know, man. The guy's a friend of the channel for sure. I've met him in real life and he's a really chill dude. Really nice guy. So maybe I'm a bit biased. But Reno, like, man, at 20 years old, being this put together on the table, being able to maintain his composure like he did and actually think it through while arm wrestling, that's not an easy thing to do, guys. To get at a point where you can actually like think about what you're doing when you're competing at that high a level, that's definitely not an easy feat. So yeah, good on Reno. Yeah, the guy is definitely on an upwards trajectory and I hope he continues to be for a long time. Really well done. Close match, but he pulled it out. Limo Swine says Reno says he doesn't like hook because it's inefficient, but the hook is what helped him win. Yes, indeed. And it just goes to show that in certain scenarios it pays off to be versatile. I think a lot of times people tend to overstate the value of being versatile in arm wrestling, because if you can do one move really well, you can make it pretty far in arm wrestling. But yeah, at a certain point, I think being versatile like Reno is really pays off. Even if you're not the best at it, just knowing how to execute it in an as efficient way as possible, yeah, could definitely save you in a match. Devon destroyed everybody yesterday, says Conte 19. Yeah, I kind of did, right? Kind of. Mark Redden says, I need an honest opinion. Is 41 too old to start training for arm wrestling? I mean, from scratch. No experience except a couple of years of watching it on the internet. Thanks in advance. No, I don't think it's too old, Mark Redden, for sure. I think it's kind of depends. Like, that's the short answer, right? It's not, you're not too old. But I think a lot of it depends on what are you expecting to get from it, right? Where are you expecting to go? You want to be at the highest level, like get to like the highest level, or like be very competitive. You can still do it at that age, but that's going to be an uphill battle to a certain degree, right? Do you want to have fun on the table and get good at arm wrestling and like go to practices with people and talk about arm wrestling and just have fun while doing it? Yeah, man, you're never too old to do that, for sure. 41 is totally reasonable. So no, I don't think so. Not sure yet. I enjoy the feeling of pulling, but only have one person who'll grip up with me. It's my cousin, who is 100 pounds heavier than me and much stronger. But we watch East vs. West and King of the Table together. Just, you know, I know it's not an easy thing, especially when you're starting out. Try to like leave ego at the door when you come into a practice. And try to meet each other in the middle, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to find a way where you're both getting the most out of it, right? Kind of a give and take, where you're both getting the most out of practice and just making each other stronger. I think that should be what you're aiming for. So yeah, the fact that he's 100 pounds heavier shouldn't really matter. It'll just make like getting to that point, getting to that balance, it'll just make it a little harder to get there during practice, but it's definitely doable. For sure. So yeah, give arm wrestling a try, man. I don't think you're ever too old to just give it a try. That's my opinion. Muscle Bikes as well. I can do no moves very well in arm wrestling. Arm Historian, does that count? It can count. I think if I'm thinking of like a scenario where you're just, you know a lot of moves, but you're bad at all of them. So it's like you're pulling out every move that exists in arm wrestling in quick succession, but none of them are very, like none of them have a lot of power. I think you could still finish someone that way. Just by surprising them and being quicker, I think. Hey Brad Butler, what's up, man? No worries, you're not late. You're right on time for David Samushia versus Vladimir, although I'll do it in the order that they appeared, right? Because this match got moved up. I think that was the second to last match or something. I'll just do it in the order they appear here. That's easier. David Samushia versus Vladimir Mayorov. I think once again, like, it looked pretty close, like it often does with David Samushia, but the guy just pulls it out, man. He just manages to pull out a win. I think his record in East vs. West is now like 10-1 or something crazy like that. So, yeah, David Samushia, definitely the 85 kilogram, like, if not GOAT, definitely the best at the moment. In the 85 kilogram class. The guy is insane. Hey, no worries, Mark Redden. It's I think the arm wrestling community like doesn't look at age that much. At least it shouldn't, right? It's such a niche sport still, and we've got to face the truth. We still are a niche sport. I don't think we can afford to like ostracize anyone for excuse me, ostracize anyone for any reason, right? Well, that's maybe a little too far, but like within reason, I don't think we can afford to ostracize any group of people. Within reason, like, you know what I mean? We shouldn't be some people we shouldn't tolerate, but like I don't think age should be a reason why we shouldn't accept someone into the community. So I think arm wrestling is a sport that's generally really receptive to. Doesn't matter how old you are. A lot of guys, probably also because a lot of the top guys right now are of a certain age and they're still at the highest level in the sport, right? So yeah, start your own club. If you don't have a club near you, that's kind of what we did, right? It's not a club that we're in, but we kind of formed our own training group because over where I live specifically, there isn't another club for like, yeah, pretty far distance. So jack of all trades, master of none. Yes, indeed. Die kid. So yeah, what more to say, right? David Samushia pulled it out again. The guy seems to be unstoppable in the end. Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying that. Mayorov was not treated fairly by the refs. Samushia would have won anyway, but Mayorov burned a lot of energy in that pin. I agree. There was a moment in that match where it looked like Samushia was pinned. And yeah, the ref just didn't call it, man. It looked like an edge case, to be fair. It looked like, okay, I can kind of see how the ref would maybe not call that, but yeah, I would have called it, I think. Lat Rousseau says, did you talk about Yoshi? What a great surprise that match was. Yes, we did, Lat Rousseau. Yeah, great surprise, man. I think it's good, right? Because that means we're gonna be seeing more of Yoshi in the future, probably. So I just hope the rest of Japan follows, right? Because I think if Japan can get involved into arm wrestling in any international sense, I think that's a really good pool of people to get into the sport, right? Potentially really big pool of dedicated people who currently have very little connection with the Western scene, right? As far as I'm aware, there's very little connection there, but it's coming slowly, so I hope this is like one more step towards that. Hey, German Game, how you doing? Says, well, I don't have too many clubs here as well. No guys who wanna pull. Yeah, that sucks, man. Gotta find that one dude, right? That's how it started with me. Like, one friend and I just decided to start trying it after watching some YouTube videos. Yeah, and that's how it started. And now we're doing tournaments on a pseudo-regular basis. Really fun. Let's move on. Vitali Laletin versus Georgi the Caveman Dzeranov. That's just my unofficial name for him. Yeah. Probably one of the most dominant matches of the night. Like one of the more one-sided matches of the night. Vitali just... Man, the guy looked crazy. Like, hang on, I think there's a clip here on Reddit that I can quickly show. Like an edited down clip of Vitali winning. Because Vitali did take this match very convincingly. Yeah, here. It's like all the spins combined are like 1.9 seconds. Which is crazy. Okay, the cutting is a little... it's a little quick, but... Hang on. I'll show you guys. Look at this. Don't blink because you're gonna miss it. Once again. There we go. So yeah, Vitali basically just dominated Dzeranov, which I honestly wasn't expecting. I gave Dzeranov a lot of like credit beforehand that people are underestimating him, but damn, man. Freaking crazy this match. Yeah, Mark, that one camera angle they couldn't find during Michael Todd vs. Gennady that showed a possible pin. Yeah, I agree, man. They just didn't have it. They didn't have the footage, so I guess in the end they went with the rest call, which makes sense. The original call. Yeah, Vitali did smoke that dude. Very crazy. Yeah, Spermies, this version of Vitali may be unstoppable. Does look like that, right? People are saying, like, after seeing this, okay, maybe Vitali should get another chance against Levon sometime soon. Yeah, that makes sense, right, Sylvester? He says, I think Vitali has even more potential now that he's not trucking. Yeah, I agree. It makes sense. You can dedicate a lot more time if you're not working to your training and really honing in on that. So I'm glad he has the opportunity to do that. And yeah, he looks in unprecedented shape. So looking forward to seeing what Vitali can do and how high he can get, right? Like, what's his ranking right now in the super heavies? Does anyone know the official ranking? Official quote unquote? Next match, Irakli Zirakashvili versus Georgi Tautiev. And this is one of those matches that I can't blame anyone, right? But it kind of disappointed me. So looking forward to seeing Georgi on the table. And I was kind of expecting him to do something with Irakli, like at least make it a close match. But I believe Irakli, yeah, basically took him down pretty easily. If I remember correctly, I don't think... I'm checking right now. I don't think Tautiev even got one pin on Irakli, right? Or not even close. It seemed like as soon as they were strapped up, even though Tautiev has these really extremely long levers, it seems that as soon as they were strapped up, Irakli's top roll was just kind of unstoppable. They need some cameras with slow motion capabilities and set the right angles. Yeah, I think they could like benefit from a couple of static cameras. Like, I would think they would have a camera like straight from above, like the eye in the sky kind of camera. Like a static camera, you don't need to touch it at all. Just have it there for when you have situations like this. Although it's not always clear if it's a pin either, right, from above. So yeah, it's difficult, right? When you think about the logistics of the whole thing, you need to put a static camera somewhere that's fixed on the pin pad, but refs are constantly moving in front of it, arms are getting in the way. There's a lot of stuff that can potentially get in the way, right? So I think it's just unavoidable that every once in a while you're gonna have a pin that's, you know, just not caught on camera. It's just inevitable, I think. Hopefully Tautiev didn't mess up his wrist too bad. Yeah, there was this moment, right, when yeah, his wrist didn't look too good. He got injured round one. Yeah, that makes sense. Whatever says at German game, no wonder no one wants to pull you. You're German. What did the Germans ever do wrong? Whatever. I'm just kidding. No, German game is actually a genuinely nice guy. We talked a bit in DMs about trying to find a club for him, but yeah, the guy's living kind of in no man's land as far as arm wrestling clubs go, so I feel for him, man. Sucks. It sucks. Maybe, I know it's like, I don't know, maybe try going to a gym or something, getting to know someone and kind of introducing arm wrestling to them. Potentially. I don't know, man. It's difficult, right? Georgi got flash pinned, Irakli just too strong. Yeah, Irakli seemed to really dominant, indeed. Yeah, I agree, Limo Swine. That's a pretty good solution, but weren't there athletes complaining about it? In my recollection, I might be wrong there, but I think I remember something like that. Brokepeak says, Arm Historian, do you know how many pay-per-views did they sell? I don't know for sure, you know. I hear rumblings. I don't think it's up to me to disclose, like, any numbers. Because I couldn't vet the numbers I hear from people. You know, I know a couple of people working behind the scenes involved with the event. And I've asked them about certain stuff, but I don't think it's up to me to, like, say what their numbers are like, right? And even if I like decided to tell people, there's no way of knowing if those numbers are even real or if that information is even fully reliable, right? So, yeah, I don't know is the short answer, I guess. I can only guess. In my opinion, Engin getting angry at Devon was the highlight of the tournament, says Boss Royale. It definitely was something of the tournament. Definitely was something. Gertillen says, had bigger hopes for Georgie. Yeah, true, me too, man. What will Engin do with Devon, says Prince Sadi. Honestly, Prince Sadi, I don't think Engin will do anything with Devon apart from having him compete in future matches. That's what I think Engin will do with Devon. I think Engin will give Devon more contracts to pull more matches. Because it's mutually beneficial for both of them. I guess that's kind of redundant, right? Mutually beneficial for both of them. Saying the same thing twice. Muscle Bikes' rumor has it Engin will be forcing Jody into a burqa for the December event. Quite a rumor there, Muscle Bike. Nah, I think Engin is pretty chill in that regard to a degree. I think so, at least. I don't know his personal life. Nor do I really need to. German Game says, well, I'm already going to a gym. But I only have one dude there and he was 30 kilograms more than me. And is only every now and then there at the same time as me. Yeah, I get you. In general, I don't think like a weight difference would stop you from training with someone. Like I said earlier in this stream, you just kind of need to work towards that middle point, right, between the two of you. So, yeah. Next match. Michael Todd versus Gennady Quickfinia. Michael Todd took this match, right? I'm not like, it wasn't a dream or something. And it was a pretty good match, if I remember, too. A pretty closely contested one. Which makes sense, right? I think it was 3-2 in the end for Michael Todd. And I think round 3 or 4, Michael Todd even got in with a very quick press on Gennady. Very impressive. Gennady recognized it straight away, like, yeah, man, damn. I slept on this ready go and you got the best of me there. So yeah, really, really good performance from both guys. Michael showing that he's back. I even saw some hand control by Michael. Which, you know, I know, like, okay, hand and wrist isn't Gennady's, like, strongest point. I know that. But still, like, to me, it's a very rare thing for Michael to be in an open top roll and having really good hand control, really pronounced hand control, right? So, yeah, awesome. Good on Michael Todd. Good on Gennady too, you know, it was kind of iffy. He got an injury too. I know both of them were quite injured. But yeah, a really, really nice match actually. Latrus says Gennady looked good, but probably not quite at his best level. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people were speculating, right? White Wolf says, Arm Historian, why is Phil W hiding in the shadows of your skirt today? Come on, Phil, don't be frightened. Much. Phil Woody, I don't know, man. He's, of course, free to speak or not speak whenever he wants in chat. Yeah, I got no beef with Phil. We even shared a room. Apart from his snoring, I got no beef with Phil. People are free to lurk or not lurk as much as they want in chat, man. I don't really care. But Royale says, does anyone know what happened to Angerbayev? Hasn't seen him pull recently. Yeah, I said the same thing yesterday to my training partners. Love to see more of Angerbayev again, but I don't know, man. Just speculation, but probably nursing an injury or something. Like maybe, oh yeah, Lev Rousseau says Angerbayev had elbow surgery? Question mark? Maybe. No, he was actually, like, apart from a little snoring, which I can deal with because I just slept with like music in my ears or something. He's actually a really good roommate, clean guy, and nice to talk to. So yeah. White Wolf says that so-called gauntlet looked like an ashtray from John Berzing's dad's house in the 70s. Yeah, I did have. That's a very imaginative description there, White Wolf. I love it. Yeah, it definitely looked like something. Prince Daddy says, in my opinion, if Devon crosses limits, Engin also crossed his limit, you know. Why? Well, you can't handle two monsters, so why you are come to do the refereeing? Yeah, I see what you're saying, Prince Daddy. I think in general, if you're gonna do this, just let it happen. Let it play out. Like, don't let it get violent, obviously. Sorry. Excuse me, guys. Like, let it play out. Let them have their fun. If you're gonna allow something like this to happen, just let them go at it, man. Like, I wonder what the motivation is, right? In the first place, I wonder how much of it was, you know, not like previously discussed, like in broad strokes, like this and this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna go on stage and like do a left-handed match or like set up for a left-handed match, and then I'm gonna come interrupted, but maybe it got out of hand and Devon changed his mind on it being interrupted, or maybe that was part of it, or I don't know. It's really hard to say without knowing, right? Can only speculate on it. And there's so many possibilities of what was like the motivation of letting it happen. But let's quickly go over Ivan Matyushenko versus Alijan Muratov. Muratov took it in the end, right? I think I remember in the start it looked like Ivan had it in the bag, like the first match or something. And I think he was close during some other rounds. But I think in the end, Muratov took it, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So yeah, Muratov proving that he can... Like, I don't know how he does it, man. It seems like he's redlining and he's at the peak of his power, trying to hold on, and then he just surges again and just plows right through there. I've seen it happen so many times with this guy. Very impressive. No worries, Boss Royale. I got you, man. Like, when people make spelling mistakes or something in chat, I try to, like, ascertain the true meaning, right? It's not always as easy, but, yeah, something insignificant like that. I understood you loud and clear. MG Regal says, what do you think about Engin's words to Devon when things with Morozov went nuts? Yeah, man, it's... I just touched on it, right? Pretty crazy. Chutuval says, after seeing Devon mess around with Artem after the event, where do you think he is in the overall left-hand rankings? Okay, let's just get to the match, right? I think we've gone over every match. Like, the Ivan-Alijan match was actually a really good one. And both of them really impressed me, especially Alijan, right? I don't know how this guy is doing it, man. He looks smaller in frame than a lot of the guys he's facing, but he just is able to overpower them. Just hang in there and then overpower them. So crazy. So yeah. Our final match, Devon Larratt, because I know some people freak out when I call him Larratt. Devon Larratt versus Oleg Petrenko. Yeah, not really a lot to say about this match. I think Devon became kind of like Devon won this match. Okay, let's just start off there. Devon won this match quite easily, right? Very dominating, very talkative, very kind of like I don't want to say aggressive, but very in your face, right? Walking over to his corner, talking to the people in his corner, talking to him the entire time. I think talking to him in Russian or Ukrainian. I'm not quite sure there. But yeah, very in your face with his tactics during this match. And to me, at least to me and the people I was watching with, it became kind of grating after a while. Because I get it, right? You want to get an edge. It is entertaining to a degree for sure. I love me some good Devon matches. But like when it's so clear that you're dominant and you're winning, at a certain point it becomes a little grating to me. Like at a certain point I'm like, what are you doing? What's the point here anymore, you know? This isn't adding any extra entertainment value for me. It has just become quite annoying then at that point. So yeah, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I understand other people feel differently. I'm sure if like my mind wasn't as saturated with Devon content already as much as it is, which is probably more than the average person, I would find it less annoying. So I definitely like understand why people like it and why people would like say, nah man, no issues there. I think what he did is totally fine. But you know, at the end of the day, I don't think he did anything that outrageous or something. I don't think he needs to be, like some people are calling for him to be punished and this and that, but I don't really see it that way. It's just a personal opinion that it got kind of annoying for me. That's all. Yeah, that's certainly true. There is some dynamic there, spermies, between, like, you know, hating Devon is still good for the sport at the end of the day, right? Like being vocal about how much you hate Devon, and he's quite a polarizing character, and it seems like as his career is evolving more, there's potential for him becoming even more polarizing in that way. So, yeah, I do think there is that dynamic where even when people are hating on Devon that much, whether they're hating on him or loving him, at the end of the day, it helps the sport grow to a degree, right? So, James M says he didn't build this sport, that's for damn sure. Yeah, I don't think I would ever say Devon built arm wrestling. I think he's a big part of arm wrestling, right? You can't really get around that. You can love or hate the guy, but you can't get around it. I talked about it ad nauseum at this point in both of my Devon videos, so yeah. Boss Royale says Engin got so pissed off he started speaking Turkish as if Devon would understand. Yeah. I did notice that. Quite crazy, right? Yeah. So after this match was over, like they talked about during the press conference, I believe, or after a press conference or whatever, Artyom Morozov would face off against Devon on the left hand. Now they did something like this before, right? In one of the previous editions, it might even be in the previous one, or maybe 2 editions ago. I think they did something like this before, where they like tagged on an extra kind of match at the end, like 1 round or like half a round or just a setup. I can't quite remember who it involved the previous one. Maybe someone in chat knows, but I think something like this happened before, so maybe going into it, that was their kind of expectation, that was what they were going for. Just build the hype for an upcoming match with like a let's go to the table, let's kind of grip up and let's pretend like we're gonna start a match, or let's just do 1 quick round and then stop, or I don't really know. I don't think the entire thing was impromptu, but I do think it got out of hand. I think it's pretty clear, like Boss Royale says here, it was pretty clear that Engin was actually angry, at least to me. Like if if that was Engin acting, like, he might have to move to Hollywood, you know what I mean? I think Engin was genuinely angry and the situation genuinely got out of hand. Like, at a certain point, Kurt Niadzi stepped in, and that's when Devon started calming down a bit. Very interesting. Prince Sadie says, Engin seeing only money for Engin Thursday, Devon Larratt is the bank in arm wrestling. I don't think that's fully true, Prince Sadie. Like, how do I say this? I think Engin would be a fool if he didn't take into consideration the monetary value of someone like Devon Larratt, right? And I'm not even talking monetary value for him personally, but a way to expand the event and to keep the event going. One of those things could be having Devon Larratt in your event, right? So I think Engin would be a fool if he doesn't recognize that, and I think he does recognize that. I don't think that means that Engin sees only money in Devon, personally, right? I've had some interactions with Engin. We've had disagreements before about things. We haven't seen eye to eye, but I think I need to remain fair in, like, I don't think he's as capricious or as, like, I don't know. I just don't think he's the person a lot of people see him as, in, like, this mastermind who's pulling the strings of, like, people for monetary gain or something. I think that's off the mark. You can have a lot of opinions about Engin, but I don't think he's really in it for the money, in my opinion. I don't think that's, like, the motivating factor for him. But, you know, you can have a different opinion, that's fine. Boss Royale says Devon may not have built the sport, but he's the reason a lot of us know about arm wrestling in the first place. Yeah, I think Devon did a lot for the sport of arm wrestling and popularizing it. His name has become inextricably linked with arm wrestling, right? There's no way of removing him from the equation now. Just as, to a lesser degree obviously, but just as Ryan Bowen has become linked with the sport, whether you like him or not, and a lot of people don't. He has become a part of the sport. And that goes for every controversial figure ever in arm wrestling. I don't mean to, like, single out Ryan Bowen or anything, but it goes for yeah, every person that has fans that hate them and fans that love them. They have the biggest potential to leave a mark on the sport and potentially grow it. So yeah, that's the way it is. But I think that goes for everything, right? It's not just arm wrestling. Just the way the internet is right now. Limo Swine says Engin was seriously cursing in Turkish, not even friendly, actually seriously cursing. Yeah, I didn't think, and maybe I think Engin must have picked up on that to a degree. Like, it didn't look professional, you know what I mean? The entire thing kind of felt like a circus act a little bit at some points. And that is my opinion. I know a lot of people liked it. I'm not gonna say I wasn't entertained by it, because I was. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's the best way of going about setting up future matches. Maybe it is. Maybe it is the best way. And maybe it'll pay off in the end. But personally, I don't think it's the best way to go about creating hype. That's just me, of course. I'd love to hear some people's opinion about it, because yeah, I do think there's a lot of differing opinions out there that are equally valid. It's the whole thing again, right? With the thing WAL was, like, called out for so often. And don't get me wrong, I like WAL. I just don't necessarily want to see East versus West be WAL. Like, to me, this went a little... Like, I don't think I ever saw, like, genuine animosity that much in WAL. And this seemed like it genuinely got out of hand. But maybe I'm just naive in thinking that, I don't know. Spacey says Devon haters are mathematically proven to have small biceps and small eggplants. That's fine, you know, I think I'm not a Devon hater by any stretch of the imagination. I appreciate what he did for the sport. Yeah, that's what I say about that. Sylvester says, I think all personalities should allow themselves to unfold as they truly are, or we will all become cheap knockoffs of Paulin. Yeah, that's a good point, I think, Sylvester. Without dissing on Paulin, right? Because I think, like, Paulin is a really friendly guy. He can get riled up on the table for sure, but he's always down to help people, and I've had personal interactions with him that were very positive. But yeah, I do see what you're saying, that people need to be able to be themselves, and that'll create the biggest hype for following the sport in the sense of it being character driven, right? I do think that is the future of like a one-on-one sport that is so like intimate in a way, right? It's a really small quote-unquote fighting arena. It's a really tiny stage, the arm wrestling table. So yeah, I do think in a sense that is where the future of the sport probably lies, right? In it being more character driven. That doesn't mean like a WWE thing, don't get me wrong, like I don't want to see it like becoming storylines and stuff like that. Not at all. Just like focusing on the athletes, right? Focusing on the journey of the athletes and what they're good at and their styles and their personalities. I think that could really benefit the sport in a big way, right? And I think to a certain degree, East vs West is doing that. So yeah, that's my opinion. Let me scroll down here in chat. I'm sorry if I missed some of you. It's a very busy day in chat. I think we broke our record today of concurrent viewers, so thank you for that. I think we got up to like 56 viewers or nearly 60 viewers at a certain point, so thanks a lot for the support, guys. If you can, leave a like. You don't have to speak in chat, but if you do, I thank you. If you're just lurking, that's totally fine too. I go live every Sunday, keep that in mind. Yeah, at least I try to go live every Sunday. There's a new video coming out pretty soon. It's not a Rise and Fall video, but it is a new video on something that's pretty exciting and I'm pretty passionate about, so I hope that'll come out well. And other than that, I'm also working on a Rise and Fall episode, of course, so look forward to that too. Spacey says, where's the proof that Engin's eyebrows aren't parasitic caterpillars controlling his mind? That's certainly true. Spacey, where is that proof? I'd love to see Engin shave his eyebrows to prove that isn't the case, right? I don't think he'll do it, so I think that just lends more credence to what you're saying there. Boss Royale says, I personally think it was hilarious. Devon and Engin's chemistry is unmatched. Now, I definitely agree there, Boss Royale. I do think they have quite a bit of, whether they won it or not, whether it's on purpose or not, I think they do have quite a bit of chemistry together, for sure. I do agree, Muscle Bike Arm Gods was really fun to be at in person. A really fun experience, for sure. Boss Royale says, I always love it when this song comes on. That's awesome. I know we have like the same playlist for a while now. I definitely need to expand a little bit. But I'm glad to hear you like some of the songs there. Sylvester says, I've got a lot more to say than I'm willing to type on here. I hear you, Sylvester. Yeah, we need to be smart sometimes, right, in what we say. I think that's usually a good thing to strive for. Remember, guys, if you ever want to talk about this in an even more open setting, I know we're quite open here about the things you can talk about. And the things I talk about, usually I don't really censor myself that much. At least I try not to. But if you want to have these kinds of conversations, even when I'm not live, you're free to join me on Discord and join the rest of us on Discord too. I know there's quite a bit of you out there that are also on Discord. Yeah, and it would be great if we could get the Discord a little more active and just yeah, talk about arm wrestling like we do here in that setting too. Jutuval says, who do you think is more dominant pound for pound? Alijan on the left or Devon on the right? It's really difficult to compare, right? Because Devon's career is that much longer than Alijan, so I'll probably give it to Devon. Because throughout certain points in his career, he's been a really dominant force in a lot of different weight classes, so... Probably Devon, like you're talking about right now, probably, right? Yeah, hard to say, man. Hard to say. I know Alijan seems really strong right now, especially for his weight, so hard to compare. Kutadzi says, can someone explain who was a Turkish guy who came up to talk with Devon? Yeah, that was Kurt Niadzi. And indeed, he was a Turkish puller. I talked about him in my Engin video. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check it out. He played a big part in Engin coming up and in the Turkish arm wrestling scene in general. I believe he's currently the president of the Turkish Arm Wrestling Federation, if I'm not mistaken. And he also has a lot of ties with the WAF. So yeah, definitely a guy that's really involved with arm wrestling, has been in the sport for a long time. I know he has competed at WAF. I even think he has a couple of world titles there. Yeah, and that's Kurt Niadzi. I even think he competed in one of the earlier events of East versus West. But I might be remembering that wrong or confusing him with someone else, but yeah. That's Kurt Niadzi in a nutshell. I go over him a little bit in my Engin video. If you're interested in that, definitely check it out. Lat Rousseau says this is pretty much the only live chat about arm wrestling I like. I appreciate that, Lat Rousseau. I only have one thing you need to be, and that's be civil. Don't start throwing insults around that are like personal at people and stuff like that. But other than that, there's not a lot that's really off topic here. I appreciate it, Spermies. Let's give a hand to Arm Historian. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are really cool for hanging out with me. You know, I always look forward to this. I'm going to be winding down the stream. I think Neil Pickup is maybe going live with the fix, although I don't know. He might be still kind of recovering from the event. But yeah, I really do appreciate this many of you being here. Like I said, we hit a new record today of concurrent viewers. I think, let me quickly check it out. We hit 57 viewers today, which I think is a new high, right? So yeah, awesome guys, thank you so much. Also, thank you for all the gifted memberships today. A special thank you to Spermies, White Wolf and Muscle Bike for being so generous. Really, I appreciate it a lot. Juduval says we gotta see Arm Historian grown a beard to get that extra 20% power. I might do that, who knows? I might show up with a full beard on my arm head next week. You'll have to check the stream out next week. Spacey says, I'm afraid to give Arm Historian my hand. He'd take my wrist and not give. Yeah, I wouldn't ever give your wrist back. Muscle Bike coming in with another super chat, a £5 super chat. Muscle Bike, too much, man. Thank you so much. It says, kindly hit the like button on the way out. Hashtag ArmGods, hashtag Toons, hashtag Ahoo. Definitely, Muscle Bike, thank you so much. Once again, I appreciate it, man. And yeah, thank you everyone for being here today. I enjoyed it a lot. I always enjoy these talks. As I said, you can find me normally. There's been a couple of exceptions lately, but I'm trying to be consistent. You can find me going live every Sunday, sometimes during the week when there's like special events, or like last time with Halloween, I go live too. But yeah, other than that, you can catch me on Sunday. I try to put out episodes or videos on my channel at least once or twice a month, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on the topics. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out, everyone in chat, whether you're a lurker, Whether you donated or didn't donate or talk or commented or whatever you did, you liked the video in any way or interacted with me in any way, even if you don't like what I do, but you still check me out from time to time. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Go check out Neil Pickup if he's live, and if he's not, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you all next week. Until then, you know the drill by now. Arm Historian, out of here. Bye-bye. Catch you later. Bye.